you've never had a great souffle, well, you are definitely missing out. And there is one restaurant in Dallas who can help you fix that. It's called Rise Number One. And as a matter of fact, it was just listed as the 36th best restaurant in Dallas, according to D Magazine food editor Nancy Nichols. Susie recently met up with the owner. Take a look at this.
The first time that I ever heard of Rise One in Inwood Village, I knew I had to go. So I dressed myself up because I'm going in the swanky part of town, and I opened the front door and I walked through the door and came upon this amazing room with twinkling lights and beautiful woods and gleaming silver that was somewhat tarnished, and all kinds of antiquities, foods that smell, and souffles that were rising in the oven. And I knew I had arrived at not just a restaurant or the end of a journey, but an experience that would last with me every time I knew that I wanted a great meal and a joyful place to be. I'm happy to introduce the creator of that experience for me, my friend Hedda Joya Dowd.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I love this place so much.
I can tell. I think you own it.
Oh my gosh.
I think you have taken ownership.
I couldn't believe that somebody would conceive something that's so different, so unusual, and bring it to life as if you had pictured it in your mind before it ever took shape.
Well, you happen to be exactly right. I think it's been in my stomach since I was probably 5.
You came from an Italian father and a French mother,
yes,
and you grew up around food and joy and all of the experiences that come with food and family.
And being nurtured. Heavy nurturer. Heavy.
How were you nurtured by them?
Well, I think food was always the focus point, what we ate for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then we talk about what we're going to eat again, because it brought everybody together. And I think food has that capacity to really reach deep in you. And no matter whether you speak a language that's similar or not, it gathers everybody at a table, and you just feel good about yourself.
And you really do feel at that moment like you are a family.
Yeah, that's the only way I think there is such a thing as a family, is at a table and sharing food. I did a cooking class for a person once who told me that she had a gourmet club. And I said, oh, what do you all cook in your gourmet club? And she goes, oh, we don't cook, we go out to eat.
Oh, gosh.
And I said, well, that's not exactly what I think of as a gourmet club. She goes, well, this is what I'd like you to do. I want you to come to my house, and I want you to give us a cooking lesson, and I don't care what it is. And I said, great, I'll do it. I'll buy everything and I'll come. So I showed up. There were 12 women. Most of them were rather young, but her aunt came, who was a wedding cake decorator. And I got there, and I opened the oven door, and all the instructions were still in the oven. And I opened a refrigerator, and there was just water and yogurt.
No.
So I knew I was in for a real experience. So I divvied up the group, and I told 3 ladies, okay, you're going to clean the chickens and wash them.
Clean the chickens?
Clean the chickens. So wash them in the water, and they looked at me and said, oh, you don't understand. I said, what do you mean? She goes, I just got a manicure.
Oh,
I said, well, you can get another one
Hedda.
tomorrow. You can get another manicure tomorrow. You're cleaning chickens. So I got them cleaning chickens, and then we did all these different foods. And I said, you know, if you don't learn anything from me but one thing, I want each one of you every day to go to the grocery store and pick something and try something you've never eaten before.
And I like to have, when I have a dinner party, to do something I've never done before.
I agree with you.
Because then when you sit down and you go, isn't this good?
Right. Or whatever.
This just, my mother one time ate something I had,
yeah,
and it was bad, and she said, well, I don't think I'll ever use that caterer again. so she could save my face with the guests.
But I think what's fun about doing that is you too are experiencing it for the first time.
Yes.
And you get that genuine, it's like children. They don't lie to you. They just tell you exactly how it is.
That's right.
And that experience is just like every time I have a glass of champagne, the first thing I want to do is listen to the bubbles.
When your husband passed away right after this restaurant opened, how did you get through that, Hedda? Your brain had to shut down, or did you work harder?
I worked harder.
I cannot imagine.
It was at such a critical time. We'd only been open 3 weeks. And I thought, I can't do this. I cannot stop right now
And grieve
and grieve and act as if my whole world is gone. I have this, and he was so proud of this because he did eat here twice. And he was so excited about this happening.
There's one thing, refers to the souffles, rise to the occasion, because what we haven't talked about are these amazing souffles, which you saw a little bit in the opening of this piece. But I want to tell you something. If you want to take somebody to a really special experience, have a beautiful meal, and meet all of the wonderful staff that are happy you're here, because her middle name is Joya. And you get that 100% when you come to Rise.